Hello, content consumers and information seekers. This is Warren Muzak from Warren Muzak Animation, and I'm just wrapping up a job here, and I thought I'd pop on and kind of give a little bit of a process breakdown for you guys. So what we have here, this was a thumbnail that is being created for a YouTube channel, and this is a family portrait of a historical Spanish figure, El Cid, I believe is his name. But what I want to show you today is kind of the layer structure that I use for all of my painted work so that it's kind of non-destructive, meaning if I screw something up on it, all I have to do is alter something on one layer and not have to redo an entire piece. So to give you the breakdown, I'm going to shut down all of the layers here and open them up one at a time and kind of show you how I set things up. So obviously the first thing I do right away is once after I import in my rough work from my sketchbook, which I usually just scan in from something like this, I'll create the finished line art layer as you see here. So this particular layer done in solid black with my favorite drawing tool, which we have over here. You'll see me refer to that particular brush an awful lot in Krita as it is my main working brush. So first layer we create is the line art. The second layer that we get into here is blocking in the colors, but I always start with this mask. So if I get rid of the line art layer, you can see that there's this solid white here. And if it's a little difficult to see at the moment, I'll make it a solid black or a solid something other. There we go. Let's choose red. Red is a good one to go with. So there we have this mask here. And the reason that I end up creating a mask is if I need to knock anything out, all I got to do is select that mask and subtract it from whatever it is I want it to be knocked out from. So that's my first. And from here, I can actually select this whole thing and maybe cut into it to get the individual colors. And that was a method that I used in Photoshop a lot because its fill tool worked a little bit differently. But in Krita, that particular method doesn't work. So we're going to undo this, bring it back to white. So the next thing I end up doing, the next layer is color, as you can see here. So this is just a basic straight coloring. There's no shading done on here. Okay, so everything is just solid and it is underneath the line art layer. All right, let's take it away. There we go. So we got my line art, I got the mask, and I've got the basic colors blocked in. The next thing I do is I have a shadow layer. So this shadow layer is black. That's all it is. Usually cut down to about 10%, 10, 20%, something like that. And the way that I get the shadows in is I'll go back to my color layer, select whatever color it is, and it's already very specific to the one area. So then I can go in, get my black, select that, go over to my brushes, and I can start adding in my shadow. And just swoop it in. That's obviously not what I would do because I don't want to black the thing out. I knock it back down, like I said, to about 10%, 10, 12, in around there. And I can start feathering in some shadows like that there. So all of the shadows done on this layer are all in black. They're not tones of the original base color. And that has been working out well. So why I do this is if I do put a shadow in the wrong spot, or say I get through and I do the whole thing and I just don't like the way it looks, all I have to do is delete that one layer and it's not going to affect anything underneath it or on top of it. So I don't have to go and recolor all of my base artwork. So obviously if we've got a shadow layer, we've got a highlight layer. And the highlight layer, again, is white. So the shadows I keep black, the highlights I keep all white. It's just a very simple swoops in there of white, again at a very low percentage. Usually with white I tend to stick with 5 to 7% and around there. So once we got the highlights and then we got the shadows, there are some different tones that aren't covered in the black and white, so that is when I bring in the final layer. And as you can see, it really makes things pop by adding in some different tones of the actual base color here. So in this case, for this blue dress, I selected the base blue and maybe made kind of more of an aqua or a turquoise or something like that. And again, just kind of feathered it in on top of the base color. Putting all three of them together, you get the finished effect like so. So that's that. Finally, the last layer to come in is the background. So the background, as you can see, runs through the entire drawing. Get rid of the shadows there too. So that is it there. I don't try to work around the images at all. I don't try to cut around them, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that works. But if I did have to do that, that's where the mask comes in handy. So if I was to open up that mask layer, and if I did want those figures knocked out of this background, all I have to do is go to my wand tool, hit the mask layer, select the background layer itself, hit delete, and there we go, we've got it. That does come in handy from time to time. Let's get that back here. It does come in handy from time to time. I have used it from time to time. Not in this particular case, but I kind of get into that mode, you know, it's just automatic. So you set up your layers in a certain way for a long time, you just automatically work that way. At least I do anyways. So that's just kind of the basic structure of my illustration work and how I set things up, how I set up my layers in my files. So, hey, if you guys got something different, I'd love to hear about it. Apparently the dog would love to hear about it too. So I'd love to see your comments in the comments section about maybe your tips and tricks for how you set up your things, how you work. Maybe you like this one, give it a try. So thanks guys for watching. See you in the next video.